Well, good luck.
Good luck what? I'm not trying to do anything. I gave up.
Ah.
I'm getting bigger pants. Hello and welcome to episode 38 of the Watch It Bro podcast. I'm Tristan.
And I am Marshall.
And today we are going to be talking about the Rocketeer.
Yes, I half expected you to say Rocket Man again.
No, that was just to mess with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, no, I'm good. We usually banter, and actually, I think the last 6 episodes in a row, I've commented on the fact that we usually banter, and I got nothing, and then we end up coming up with something.
True. Once we start getting into it, it's like, what's going on? What are we bantering? I don't know. Why can't we banter? And then 20 minutes later, we're getting into the movie.
So I listen to podcasts, not just ours.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And one of my favorite podcasts just ended.
Oh, which one?
Dice of Thunder.
Really?
Have you not been listening to the Dice of Thunder podcast?
I am not caught up. No.
Surprise!
Dang.
Well, I won't tell you how it ends, but yeah, they decided to call it, and that really bums me out. Because I like the Dice of Thunder podcast. I listened to them when I painted every single wall in my house after I bought it.
Yeah.
They kept me company through a lot of things, and I hope they come back.
Is it a full end of the whole podcast, or just this adventure?
Till further notice.
Okay.
They're not sure if they're going to come back at all or not.
Okay.
So today's episode of the Watch It Bro podcast is dedicated to the Dice of Thunder podcast. If you have not listened to Dice of Thunder, go check them out. They are a first edition Pathfinder podcast. They are family friendly, and they are hysterical.
I agree with all those statements.
And sometimes they're a little childish, but that's the point.
Love you, Scott.
Have you met Scott?
Yes.
I have not. That rhymed.
It has. It did. Yes, I have met him a couple times, and I mean,
that's right. You guys play together too,
and played with him on Big Campaign Pod.
That's right. Are you guys gonna have any more of the Dice of Thunder crew guest spot?
I don't know.
Okay.
That is not a question for me.
Well, I know Jeff and Scott are pretty good friends now.
Yeah.
So that's cool. At least it's always nice to hear him on a Big Campaign.
Chesero.
Yeah, I like the character.
Yeah. Harvest Farm.
But this is not a Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder podcast. We are a movie watch and review podcast. And today's movie was, I almost said Rocket Man, but it's the Rocketeer.
Look at you. I don't know.
Look at me. Why?
I don't know.
You got something to say?
Nope.
So I
You're
made
doing
coffee.
great.
Thank you. I made coffee for myself yesterday.
Did you drink it?
I did.
Was it good?
It was. I put a teaspoon of powdered cinnamon on top of my coffee grounds and stirred it in.
Yeah.
Tasted like Christmas.
Oh.
It was nice.
Interesting. I might have to do that.
I highly recommend it. It was great.
Okay.
Yeah, and it wasn't overpowering.
That's good.
I also like cinnamon.
True. You are a cinnamon fiend.
I don't think that's true.
What?
But I do enjoy some cinnamon.
You little cinnamon fiend.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. It just kind of...
Of course, I do remember when we used to make cinnamon toast and cinnamon bread?
Yeah.
When we were kids?
Yeah, well, that's why I was calling you a cinnamon fiend, because that was your jam. Cinnamon toast.
It was good.
Yeah.
I just lick the cinnamon off the bread. Butter, cinnamon, and sugar. Forget the pesky bread getting in the way.
I don't think the listeners need to hear that.
No, but when I was a kid, so we ran out of the cinnamon and sugar mix, and I was like, I know how to make that. No, I didn't.
You did not.
So I made the cinnamon sugar mix, and I made some cinnamon toast, and then I told Mom I didn't do it right, and she goes, No, you didn't.
Probably way too much cinnamon, right?
Oh yeah, it just burned. I took a big old bite, and it hurt.
Cinnamon challenge toast.
It's pretty much what it was. And Mom's like, "You have enough cinnamon here to mix like."
I like the taste of cinnamon toast. More cinnamon must be more better.
Kid logic, man.
That pesky sugar just gets in the way of the cinnamon flavor.
Why can't you just eat this stuff by the spoonful?
Uh,
Years later, people did.
not for fun. Well, not for fun.
It was, yeah, they did it for funsies.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much fun they were having, but they did it for
Everybody,
views.
everybody else had fun.
Big old cinnamon cloud. Poof.
Hey, I enjoyed watching people try to eat a spoonful of cinnamon.
Spoonful of cinnamon just hurts.
I think that was the point. Well, I think we've bantered. You want to get into the specs of this movie?
I think so.
So, The Rocketeer. This movie was directed by Joe Johnston. The screenplay was by Danny Bilso and Paul DeMeo.
Okay.
Story was by the aforementioned two, plus William Deere. It is based on the comic of the same name by Dave Stevens.
Yep.
And now into our starring cast. So, fun fact. Well,
Yes.
I don't know how much of a fact it is.
You don't know any of these people?
No, I do actually.
Okay.
Kind of. So two of these cast members I thought I knew, and well, let's get into it. So we got Billy Campbell. I didn't look him up. I don't know what he's done. Not much, probably.
He's done a lot of TV work. Nothing big. Nothing. He didn't pop out as an actor like you would think. So he's just
Right.
kind of. He's still doing stuff though.
Yeah, just he's not really. You wouldn't see him or well, you wouldn't recognize him from this probably. Anywho, moving on, we
Or
have
Billy.
Alan Arkin, sorry.
Yes, Alan
And
Arkin.
he was in a lot of stuff. He was in Catch 22, Edward Scissorhands, the 2019 live action Dumbo, to name a few.
Okay.
Moving on from Alan Arkin, we have Jennifer Connelly, who I was like, "Oh yeah, Jennifer Connelly from Liar Liar." Nope.
Nope. You're more like Jennifer Connelly from Labyrinth and the Ang Lee Hulk movie
yes, her.
and Spider-Man. She wasn't in the movie, but she did the voice of Karen, his suit lady talking voice, his Jarvis.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, from the newer ones with Tom Holland.
Yeah, no, I gathered that.
Yeah.
She was one of the ones I thought I knew from something and was completely wrong.
Oh, okay.
Next, we have Paul Sorvino, the second cast member that I thought I knew from something else and was wrong. I was like, Paul Sorvino, I was the kid from the Wonder Years, Kevin's friend. No, it wasn't.
No, it's not.
No, Paul Sorvino. Go ahead.
Also, his name in the show was Paul.
Well, then I was like, once I got there, I was like, oh, maybe the character's name was Paul Sorvino or something close to that. But the actor, Paul Sorvino,
Yeah.
he's been in some stuff. He was in Goodfellas.
He looks like he'd be a good mob actor.
He played Jeff Garland's character. He played Pop, I think, or Pops in the Goldbergs. He played the dad's dad, not the mom's dad.
It must have been early on because he was played by not Alan Alda, Judd Hirsch, the dude from Taxi.
Right. No, I know who you're thinking of. I can picture his face.
Yeah, Judd Hirsch. He played Jeff Goldblum's dad in Independence Day.
Right. Yeah. That's who I'm thinking of.
That's not
What?
That's not Paul Savino. But yes,
Right,
yes, no, he
Paul
did play.
Sorvino. He
He played
was the
in like the first couple seasons. May have just been the first season.
right. He first appeared in season 2 in a season 2 episode, and he was Paul Sorvino, and then Judd Hirsch took over the role from there.
Okay.
So, and then rounding out our starring cast of this is former James Bond Timothy Dalton.
Okay. Yes. Love me some Timothy Dalton.
Oh, he's still alive too. Good for him.
Timothy Dalton? Yeah.
Yeah. He's been on all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he was in Hot Fuzz.
Doctor Who.
Yeah.
You got any more?
I mean, you said James Bond, Living Daylights, and License to Kill. Flash Gordon, The Crown. He voiced Mr. Pricklepants in Toy Story 4.
Toy Story 3.
And 3.
And 3. Right. Yeah.
He's the thespian hedgehog.
Oh, of course. He was in the show Chuck.
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, enough of that. This movie was released June 21st, 1991, on a budget of 35 to 40 million, and it raked in a whopping 46.7 million at the box office. So it didn't do good.
That's a great way to look at the budget. 35 to 40 million. We may have gone over.
I mean, it didn't lose money, but it didn't make any money hardly.
No. Fun fact.
Okay.
The director Joe Johnston. Joe Johnston. Also directed Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yes, he did.
Partly because of his work on this movie for the period piece of it, since it takes place in 1938.
Yes. And then there were talks of a sequel to The Rocketeer that never came to fruition.
Yeah, because it didn't perform well.
Yeah, that you don't usually get a sequel when your movie doesn't do well.
No, but when your movie becomes the third highest grossing release for Warner Brothers, Minecraft movie's gonna get a sequel.
Yeah. Was that good? I heard it wasn't even good.
It's not a great movie. It had
funny.
It was funny. It's one of those movies. I mean, they know their audience. It's tailored directly to. I mean, Jacob loved it. We've seen it twice because of it. He likes it so much. It's Jack Black being Jack Black, and that's funny.
Yeah. Now they have a Jack Black action figure.
They do,
and it's big.
Yeah, it's an awkward looking action figure.
You gonna get it?
No.
I might pick it up, set it on a shelf, and wait for it to be worth a whole lot of money. Go get Jack Black to sign it at a convention or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. But
this is not a Minecraft podcast, and our movie of the day is not Minecraft. It is The Rocketeer. So let's get into it, Marshall.
Yes. Rocketeer did not get a sequel, but they were planning on one. It also had a TV series, though.
And actually, there's another TV series. It's a cartoon. Came out in 2019.
That's what I meant, the cartoon.
Oh. So we start with the Walt Disney Productions logo.
Woohoo!
Marshall likes them logos.
I do like them logos.
And there's another logo on it. I didn't write it down.
And this is classic 90s Disney logo.
It is. And you get the Rocketeer on a black screen. And then the screen opens like the hangar doors of a aircraft hangar, because it is.
Let's make this as awkward as possible.
But they bring out a plane. It's a little.
They do.
What do you want me to say?
I don't know.
That's what happens. They're pushing a plane out. It's called the Bee Gees.
No, the GB.
That's right. That's the one.
It's a GB racing plane.
It made me think of the Bee Gees.
I can see that. No, it's fine. It's just.
Especially since from here, Clifford is doing a lot of time staying alive.
Yeah.
Spoilers?
Nah. But these type of racers were nicknamed Widowmakers or Flying Coffins because they were so difficult to fly.
Fun fact.
Oh yeah, fun fact.
Spoilers?
No.
But maybe. Yeah, we see a kid named Clifford, and he's getting ready to go up in this thing.
Yeah.
He's talking about how it's taken them about 3 years to put this plane together. He's getting it up, and he's getting some practice in because he wants to take this to nationals, and he wants to be a airplane professional racer.
Yes.
That's
3 years.
The dream.
So that means they've been working on it since 1935 through the Depression.
Yes. And so Clifford takes it up in the air.
We're doing sound effects now. This is awesome.
Oh no! What have I done?
Yeah.
An airplane sound effect seemed to fit right there. But we find out we're in Los Angeles, 1938.
Fun fact.
Yes.
For this particular plane they used for this movie.
Yes.
They could only do so many shots with it because landing was very hard on the landing gear, so they couldn't land it too many times. So they could only do a few shots with this specific plane that they used.
Fantastic. How's the plane? Oh, she flies great. How does she land? She doesn't really like to do that.
No, we got to be careful. Get all your shots that you can because we only want to land this thing 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, after that, the landing gear falls apart. You just kind of go nose first into the ground.
Yeah.
Fun. All right, go flyer. Don't think so. I'm gonna pass. So we see what looks to be a police chase, or so I thought, until one of the mobsters shooting at the other guy was like, "Oh, I wish this black and white would get out of the way," and then the cop does, and then you turn out there's two mob guys shooting at each other or something. That's weird. There's just like randomly a cop in between this like criminal shootout, and you're like, okay. So then the cop gets crashed, and then they're chasing each other, and then Clifford decides he's gonna fly right overhead of this car chase, and then the guy with the Tommy gun is like, "A plane, I'm gonna shoot it." So he shoots it. It's just a weird introduction to a movie,
Yeah, it is a weird introduction to the movie.
and it's cool though because they got one of those old 1930s cars where you have the back seat, but the back seat is like outside of the rest of the car.
Yeah, where instead of the trunk, you have the seat that pops up and you can sit in there.
Yeah, and the guy's sitting backwards and he's shooting out of it.
Yeah,
And then we lose. His name's Lenny, and we lose Lenny.
poor Letty.
He had it coming.
Ah, he had it coming, the schmuck.
You know what? He's the one that chose to sit back there and try to shoot people.
Was he, or was the other guy the one that chose to drive? Huh? Huh?
I maintain that Lenny made his choice.
Okay.
But the getaway driver is not even a good getaway driver because
No, he's not.
Because they crash through and it looks like he gets away for a minute and he pulls into the airfield. Also, during this time, the airplane gets like trashed.
Oh yeah, because it flies over, the Tommy gun shoots it, and it starts leaking oil. Billy has to punch out his little windshield so he can see.
Yeah, Billy.
Yeah, that's the
Cliff?
actor's name. Billy, don't be a hero. No, yes, Cliff. Sorry, the actor's name is Billy. Cliff has to punch out the window.
Sure. So yeah, this plane's getting told, and we're doing the back and forth seas. But so the getaway driver, right? He gets away. It seems near enough, and he's like grabbing the goods or whatnot that he stole, and he's like, "All right, Lenny, where are you? We gotta get going, man." And Lenny's just not there, and it's like, how does a man fall out of your car when you're the getaway driver and you just don't notice?
I mean, he was still in the little back seat thing. He was just dead and shoved in the floorboards.
Oh. I thought he fell out. The guy was like, "Lenny, where'd you go, Lenny?" Man.
No, he got shot and stayed in there.
Oh, so he was just like down in the compartment.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was.
It would have been funny if he'd have seen been like, "Oh," and then closed the seat up on him. It's like slowly.
But that's where he puts the case on top of Lenny too.
Oh yeah, sorry, Lenny. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because he pulls it. He pulls the case out of the car, looks around, sees a vacuum, and then puts the case back in the car.
And then he takes off again because he sees the other guys coming.
Yep, it's like, here they come.
And then we go back. Or no, he's running away from the other guy, and then the plane's trying to land, and the plane hits the car and loses one of its landing gears or landing legs, or
yeah, because the car aims at the plane.
Which why?
I mean, these planes have fairly famous faulty landing gear, so go for the weak spot.
No, but why is the guy trying to hit the plane?
I think the plane got in the way because he was aiming straight for that gas truck.
Oh, get the gas trucks! Don't get me started on the gas trucks in this movie.
You gotta fuel up the plane. There gotta be a gas truck.
That doesn't mean everybody and their brother has to hit them.
Explosions are cool.
Sure. Yeah. No, we've all seen Die Hard.
But yeah,
Like, you know,
the dude I think was aiming at the gas truck, and then the plane was coming down. He was on the runway. It was just unfortunate for Cliff.
so the car hits the gas truck and explodes.
It does, and the dude jumps out of the plane. Not the no, the dude jumps out of the car. The
Yes,
driver.
he does.
He's like, it got
Cliff.
hit by the plane. I'm out. He tucks and rolls poorly
Yeah.
because he is very
Uh,
injured.
yeah. And so after this, chaos ensues.
Yes.
PV and Cliff
Yeah,
are
PV.
arguing with mobster-looking guys over the damage to the plane. Cliff takes a swing. Seems like a solid hit.
Yeah.
Other guy takes a swing. Other guy takes a swing. Seems like a solid hit. They're both mad, and they're yelling at each other. And I forget what the name of the guy that Cliff hits, but he's like, "You get that one for free, kid." And it's like, "No, you didn't. You hit him back. That's not free. Giving it to him for free means you don't hit him back."
Yeah, I think in his mind he's like, I'll do worse. That one was the lucky shot. You're getting it. You're getting away with just the one.
Yeah, you're lucky. All I did was hit you back.
Exactly.
That kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah, and it's got the great 30s dialogue, not dialogue, but the cadence of speaking.
It does. Yeah, they do pretty good at that. Uh, so yeah, the fight settles. People go their separate ways. They get the guy out of the car and they're loading him up in the hospital. And the mobster's like, "Yeah, so where's the package? See?" And the guy's like, "I'm not telling. See?" I don't know why they all talk like that, but that's the voice I'm going to use for them throughout the rest of this. Yeah,
30, because it's 30s and gangsters.
yeah, sure, pretty much that's what we got going on.
Yeah.
And so they get the car guy to the hospital, and the mob guys go their separate way.
Yeah.
And then they're sifting through the wreckage.
Yeah, they're sifting through the wreckage looking for the package,
Right.
and they find the vacuum in the wreckage all busted up, and they're like, "Ah, this must be it, right? That looks like it." They're like, "I don't know what it looked like, but yeah, sure, that could be it."
So the vacuum is a decoy.
Yes, it's a smashed up decoy
Perfect.
for I don't know why I'm trying to bury the lead. There was a rocket in that packet.
It was a rocket. Hence
And
the name of the movie, The Rocketeer.
yes, the vacuum looked like it could be a rocket.
It did a little bit. I thought that was it. I didn't pay attention. My bad.
Oh.
But then we cut to an office with an important looking guy.
Yes. Yes, we
And it
cut to
turns
an
out this guy is actually important. His name is Howard Hughes. He is the inventor of the rocket pack.
Yes. He is the inventor of the rocket pack.
So when I took notes on this, I was unfamiliar with the movie.
Were you also unfamiliar with Howard Hughes?
I didn't know he was Howard Hughes.
Oh, okay.
And then it was like Howard, and I'm like, ah, that guy. Got it.
Howard Hughes. And
Yes.
why can't I can't articulate the words. The Tony Stark from the Iron Man movies, his dad's named Howard, and it was named after Howard Hughes because he was a big inventor, also another big inventor, kind of.
Fun fact.
Yes, fun fact.
Yes. So they're arguing in the office about the jetpack. Apparently the jetpack is gone. And Howard Hughes throws the
Yes.
plans for said jetpack into the fire because he's like, you guys want to weaponize everything. I'm sorry I invented it, man.
That's a gangster voice. Howard Hughes is not a gangster. We also see
he looks like he could go meh once in a while.
I suppose. But we also see the two guys that were chasing the other guy.
Yeah, so Howard Hughes hired them to go get the thingy.
We find out they're FBI.
Meh.
Yes, this is where we find out these guys were working with Howard Hughes to get his rocket back, and these guys are FBI. And Howard Hughes is like, you know what? I wish I never invented the dang thing. And he throws his plans in the fire because, well, we'll find out later.
Right.
He doesn't want this technology getting into the wrong hands because it could be catastrophe or catastrophic. Catastrophic.
We're gonna watch an Inconvenient Truth and drink every time Al Gore says catastrophic. That's the reference you were going for, right? How I Met Your Mother?
It was.
Okay. We know each other too well.
No one else says catastrophic like that except Ted Mosby.
So we meet Bigelow, right?
We do meet Bigelow.
And I swear I've seen him in something, and then I didn't look him up.
Oh, he's in a lot of things. He's looking him up right now.
Are you?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's in a lot of things, and he's got that voice. He was in Modern Family. If you ever watched that, he's
I did.
uh,
Otis Bigelow. He's in the Big Lebowski.
yeah. You could have said his actual name.
John Polito,
Yes.
not the continuation of his character's name.
Right, right. John Polito. He's been in a lot of things. And what if you see him? I mean, he's a good character actor. He's got kind of a gravelly voice, similar to Danny DeVito, I'd say.
I wouldn't.
Okay, but he was in The Mentalist for an episode. 2.5 Men.
I was gonna say he looks like the guy on Two and a Half Men that ate the steamed clams that Alan was just left when he decided to quit being a chiropractor.
Uh, this doesn't tell me what episode he was in.
No, it was him. I recognize the character name, Mr. Shapiro.
Okay, yeah, he was also in Mike and Molly and Franklin and Bash.
He's been
Bunch of
around.
bunch of different things. If you see him, if you watch the movie, you're like, oh yeah, that guy. I don't know what I would know him from, but I know him.
Yeah, you do. But so he is there, and we we basically find out that that PV and Cliff have some kind of loan out to this guy, and now they
for
don't have the
for the air
plane.
for the airplane hangar. That's what the loan is.
That's right. And now they can't pay it because they ain't got no plane, and so they're gonna have to go back to being clowns.
Yes, yes. This guy runs an air show, and one of the things they did for it was stunt flying. Well, PV's mechanic and Cliff does the stunt flying.
Which PV can't still be a mechanic.
I mean, sure he's a mechanic, but if you don't have a plane to work on, you don't get paid to work on the plane.
He can't work on other people's planes.
They could.
Freelance mechanicery.
I'm guessing it was a paycheck for the whole crew, the plane, the mechanic, the
Ah,
pilot.
sure, sure.
I mean, it is the depression.
Right. Yeah, you gotta
The very
hinge
end of
every.
it, but
Sure. Yeah. Just coming out of the depression. So Clifford hops into the plane like he's gonna fix it and sits on something painful.
yeah. He's like, "Geez, the
Jeez
seat's not.
Louise.
Geez, Louise, the seat's not comfy."
Yeah, that's pretty much the state of it. He hops out, he grabs the jetpack out of there. Spoilers, it's the jetpack. They uncover it, and it's like, oh well, what's this? I don't know why he sounded like Mickey Mouse there, but he did. What?
I mean, it's a Disney movie. The Rocketeer.
Well, gee golly, what we got here, Wah? Better stay away, Pluto. What?
Stand back! It's a rocket.
Where's Goofy when you need him?
This podcast is going off the rails.
Quickly. What?
Don't sue.
So Clifford launches the rocket, and
I mean, yeah. They pull the rocket out like this is weird. Hey, look the button.
yeah, let's push it.
Well, you gotta figure it out somehow, right?
Yeah, I mean, eventually they get it back,
Yeah,
and
I mean, it ricochets around the hangar and busts through a wall and gets stuck in the the floor.
right, and then PV's like, "Huh, wonder what this is for," and Clifford's like, "Straps. I bet I could wear it like a backpack."
Yeah,
You're like, "Oh, the housing is cool. It runs on alcohol," which they never mention again. You don't ever see him fueling it.
yeah.
Right?
Well, they talk about that later.
Sure, and then
Sure. I-
what?
yeah. We'll talk about it when it comes up, but they do talk about the fuel later because they don't really know how to fuel the thing, and they're concerned about how much fuel it has, and um, at least PV is concerned about how much fuel it has and how long it'll last, and all that
Okay,
fun stuff
so my problem with it, the
with the
housing
rocket.
is with the pack, the rocket
Okay,
pack, is while the housing does stay cool,
Yes.
Have you seen the kick of that thing?
Something I was going to talk about too, but yes, that's why he wears the really high leather boots to kind of help with the heat coming off the back.
So Cliff and Peavy steal a statue.
They do.
And then we cut to, I guess, the bad guys, and they're meeting with their boss, played by Timothy Dalton, whose
Yep.
name is Neville
Sinclair.
Sinclair. That's right, Neville Sinclair. And Eddie, right? Eddie's the guy.
Yes, Eddie.
And he's like, I ain't gonna get your package for you until you tell me what it is.
Speaking of mobsters, Eddie.
Meh.
Eddie's a mobster.
Eddie's a mobster.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And
a local mobster at that.
yeah. Well, and it's funny because like he's a henchman. I mean, kind of. He seems to be a henchman to Timothy Dalton's character.
Yeah, but he's the head mobster. Timothy Dalton's paying the mob, and the mob
Sure.
is his mob is Eddie and his crew.
Right. Okay. And then, but Eddie presses a little bit, and Neville's like, "It's a jetpack." Overactor.
Yes, he's very dramatic. But yeah, with the feds involved, Eddie's like, I need to know what this thing is. we've
Yeah.
got a we've got a dead we've got a guy injured
Right. That they can't get to,
and
and
one
Neville
dead.
wants him to get in there and figure out what's going on with it.
Right, because the feds grabbed him. That's with the mobsters we were talking about chasing at the beginning were the guys working for Howard Hughes, the not
Right.
working for Howard Hughes, they were the FBI, so they've got him in a secure hospital wing so they can question him when he's better.
Right. Right. But the bad guys come up with a new deal. They're gonna pay triple to go and rate for jetpack retrievery, and then we get to meet Luther.
So, I was gonna say fun fact, but watching this movie again,
Yeah.
I realized I remembered very, very little of it.
Yes.
I remembered Luther. He was one of the big things I remembered about the movie, as well as the rocket and everything. But it is I did not remember this movie as well as I thought I did, or hardly at all.
Yeah, me either.
I was gonna say I doubt you remembered it at all.
Well, Rachel and I watched it a couple years back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, Neville calls Luthor Lothar.
Lothar.
Yeah, Lothar is how it's spelled.
Lothar. He's a big guy.
He is. Fun fact: he is played by Tiny Ron Taylor.
Yep. He's 7 feet tall.
7 feet tall. He was in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, Star Trek: Deep Space Nine, and Star Trek: Voyager. Also in the Naked Gun franchise.
Nice.
He was originally a basketball player.
That makes sense.
He was 7'1". He was played for. Do you know what team?
I do not.
Take a wild guess.
The Supersonics?
Correct. He was drafted by the Seattle Supersonics in 1969.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I never actually played in the NBA. He was a second-round draft pick in 1969, never actually played. Instead, he started playing for the American Basketball Association.
Okay.
Huh. Well, let's get to it. Yes, and then I have in my note, and he likes listening to opera.
Oh, Timothy
Luther,
Dalton?
no, Luther likes opera. Lothar likes opera.
Lothar.
He's listening to opera when we meet him.
He's a big guy and he looks like a Dick Tracy villain with the big, huge chin and
Yeah.
all the prosthetics they put on him.
Yeah, definitely. So then we cut to Cliff and Peavy, and they're testing the rocket pack on the statue.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they've got this statue chained to the ground in the middle of a
cornfield.
Sure. It's all dirt.
Looked like a cornfield to me.
Okay.
Anyhow,
Okay.
then Cliff notices, hey, this thing's gonna launch out of here, man. And Peavy's like, well, don't run and try to stop it. Just let it do its thing. And they proceed to launch it into oblivion.
Yeah, they've got it hooked up to a wire and they get it turned on and it's spinning in a circle because it's tied to the ground, just starts swinging.
Oh yeah. No, it's a hazard for sure.
Yeah, and then it slowly pulls itself out of the ground and just goes.
Which Peavy didn't think of an off switch. Peavy, that's gonna rip out of the ground. Well, I can't turn it off. Why not?
Yeah, you think the switch they used to turn it on would be able to turn it off if you turned it the other way, but maybe they're just starting to panic. Like, what do we do?
You have
It's a
a
rocket.
you have a multi-100-pound statue strapped to a rocket, and you're not going to think of a way to shut that down in case things get a little out of hand.
Yeah,
Not impressed. Not impressed with PV. But that's okay because the statue comes back somehow.
it does. They got lucky.
Yep. And then we meet Jenny.
We also see the damage that the statue takes.
I thought we'd see that later.
I guess there's a scene. So let's skip here. Okay,
Yeah.
we meet Jenny.
We meet Jenny, played by Jenny Connolly.
Jenny.
Real stretch for names for her.
I mean, it's not her fault the character was named Jenny.
What if they named her Jenny because, like they did with Tony Danza?
They named her Jenny from the comic.
You don't know. Have you read the comic?
Yes.
Really?
No.
I didn't think so.
But I could have.
You could have. Anyway, her name is Jenny, played by Jennifer Connelly.
Yes, I mean, this is she had done Labyrinth before. She was being popular.
And the Tony Danza reference was the fact that Tony Danza could never remember his characters' names, so anybody he worked for just named his characters Tony.
Yeah, I mean, he was Tony in Taxi. He was Tony in Who's the Boss. Those are the big things.
He was Tony in that show they had recently about him being a school teacher. Oh.
Isn't that based on him?
It was literally he was a school teacher and they just followed him around because he's actually a school teacher.
That'd be
Can't remember
crazy.
can't remember his name, but apparently he can teach the next generation.
Well, that comes from boxing.
Yeah.
Took a few too many headshots.
Anyway,
Adrian.
So apparently she's an actress.
Yes.
And she's got a role in the upcoming Neville Sinclair movie, which she seems a little obsessed with Neville Sinclair while she's going on a her and Cliff are going on a date, and she won't shut up about Neville Sinclair.
Well, he's the big actor of the time. He's the cat's pajamas, the bee's knees. He's what's it right now.
He's what's happening.
Yeah.
So they're at the movies, which and they're showing a movie about a blimp.
It's a film reel from
a movie.
They're at the movies. There's a newsreel that plays before the movie.
And they're showing a Nazi blimp going to Los Angeles.
Yes, because I mean we're on the verge of war. Nazis are doing their thing, and you had me questioning myself. Yes, they earlier on when the statue crashed, they pulled it up. His head was all messed up. He's like, looks like we should get a helmet too if I'm going to use this thing.
Oh, is that in your notes?
Yes. And they're like, it's a good idea. And then he goes on his date. He's like, well, I gotta go. But yes, it's a newsreel talking about the Germans and their new blimps.
Okay. Then we cut to the hospital room with the guy with the car. Problem?
No, but I think I know what you thought of this movie. The look on your face.
So we cut to the big bad guy, Luther, in the hospital room of the driver guy.
Yeah,
who wouldn't talk.
Yeah, they can't have the guy talking to the feds if he heals up and is coherent. Right now he's clammed up, but you never know. He's a loose end that you've got to
tie up. Yeah, and so that's perfect.
Yeah,
but
good choice of words.
Luther gets the information out of him and then crumples him like paper.
Yeah, he ties him up into a little ball. He just folds this man in half like a sheet of paper.
He really does. He just like crumple. Yeah. You hear this screaming, and the cop and the nurse who are supposed to be monitoring this guy have the radio so loud they don't hear him for the first few minutes.
Yeah, and then they start hearing the screaming because a man is getting folded in half.
And they run in there, and the nurse screams.
Yeah, because he's not looking great.
No.
But yeah, Luther got the information of where the rocket is or what happened to it. Because at this point, everybody's under the assumption that it blew up.
Right. And the loose end is now tied up.
Yes.
And then we cut to Cliff and Lady. Nope, Jenny at dinner.
I mean, she is a lady, but yeah, Cliff and Jenny.
Right. I didn't know her name for a while, so I just wrote Lady.
You just made fun of her for having the same name as the actress.
Right, that came later. When I took
Oh.
my notes, I hadn't gotten her name yet.
When you're like, "Oh, crud. I haven't written anything about this movie. I should write something down."
Pretty much, yeah. No, I have notes.
Yay.
Shoot, I lost my spot.
Oh, no.
There we go. No, here
Cliff
we
and
go.
Jenny are at dinner.
They are. They're at the diner, apparently. The only place in town to eat. It's a little town.
It is a little town.
Everybody knows
On
everybody.
It's a little town on the edge of Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood Land. You see the sign.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're a little town on the outskirts of LA. But what's the diner called? Because I've been calling it Melly's or whatever her name is.
I think that's what it was, Melly's Diner?
It was the Bulldog Diner. That's what it was,
Yeah,
the Bulldog Diner.
because it's shaped in a bulldog.
Yes, it is. But they're chatting, and we get a little glimpse of the town people to kind of see how close knit everybody is. We meet Patty and Malcolm.
Yep. Good old Malcolm.
Malcolm seems like a drunk.
Well, yeah. He is.
A nice drunk, but a drunk nonetheless.
Those are the
And
best kind of
then,
drugs.
yep, that's true. But then Jenny finally starts talking about the national flying thing that Cliff's part of. She doesn't really seem supportive of him.
That's fair.
I mean, she's like, as long as his little plane thing doesn't get in the way of her being a Hollywood starlet, she can take interest, but, everything that she wants to do comes first. But then Malcolm
Yeah,
makes fun of.
I could see that.
Yeah. But so she asked about the plane and how it's doing, and Malcolm very flippantly makes fun of Cliff for getting shot at and then almost dying trying to not crash the plane into things.
Yeah,
And apparently Jenny's mad at him for not telling her that.
that he got shot at.
Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, I'm always the last to know." And he's like, "Everybody else knows because they were there and you weren't." Which is a little bit of a jab, I guess. Or she takes it that way.
Yeah. I mean, she was
And she gets
in her girl college.
no, she was at an audition
Yeah.
where she plays scenery. That's what they say later.
I know it's what they say later. But yeah, she's not happy that she's the last to know that he got shot and fell out of the sky, basically.
Which, again, if she was supportive, she probably would have been there.
She's also not happy about going to the diner yet again.
Where else is there? He's also broke.
True. But they could go into Hollywood land.
Could go into Hollywood land. So Cliff gets home and laments to Peavy about his horrible date and goes to bed.
Yes.
We
And
see Cliff as
we see
Peavy's
Peavy
working on something.
Yes, Peavy's working on something. He's got this, I want to say
The
brass, but
hacksaw.
it's more copper thing that he's sawn in half.
Right. Then we cut to the next morning. Peavy's asleep on the couch. Clifford walks in, sees the helmet, and is like, "No."
Yeah, at first glance, he's not happy with the helmet. I think it looks awesome.
But then he decides he's going to go manifest this with Jenny. And so he goes down to her rehearsal, and we find out that she does not have a line with Neville Sinclair like she originally had said. So she's a liar, too.
I'm sensing some hostility towards Jenny here.
You know what? She doesn't come off well in the beginning.
No, not particularly.
And
But I mean,
it looks like a cool movie, though. We get to see some rehearsal. We get to find out that the lady who actually has the line that Jenny thought she was going to have can't act.
no, she cannot act, and it disrupts
Everything.
Neville. It disrupts Neville. He's like, I can't do this. What?
He's like, hey, fix her. Which, to the director's credit, he says, you're supposed to act, but have it sound like you're not acting. So act, but don't sound like you're acting. And then she nails the next take, so.
Good directing.
Great directing. But Cliff shows up, knocks over scenery, and gets Jenny fired, and almost kills Neville Sinclair. Which, if he had just killed the guy, would be a shorter movie.
Would you have liked a shorter movie?
A little bit.
Oh man. But yeah, he's playing a jeez, Robin Hood, Scarlet Pumpernickel type, or Scarlet Pimpernel, the Scarlet Pumpernickel's Daffy Duck.
I like Daffy Duck.
I do too, but that's not what I was going for. But he's playing this heroic Three Musketeer hero type in this movie. And when the whole stage collapses, his co-star is actually gets stabbed.
And then he goes to check on the co-star, and the co-star is mad at him. Like he got clubbed with a wall and accidentally stabbed a man. Oh, was I stealing the scenery? No, I got hit with a wall, dude.
It was playful banter to a friend who's possibly dying.
It didn't read like that at all.
He got stabbed. He doesn't feel good.
But Neville Sinclair is pulling out all the stops. He's like, get my driver, meet him, take him to the hospital. My personal physician will meet you there. Like he is.
Yes, he is. I
Getting this
mean,
guy taken care of.
this is an actor who cares about his crew and craft and everything. It seems like.
Yeah, but
So
then he gets Jenny barred from the set.
yeah, because I was gonna say Billy again, but because Cliff is standing there. Hey, I'm looking for Jenny.
And then, we're watching that, and he goes, "I was looking for Jenny Blake," and I'm like, "No, you're not, dude. No, you're not. If you were any kind of smart at all, you are not looking for anybody."
You're just like, yeah, just say oops and walk away.
No, don't throw your girlfriend under the bus.
My bad. I gotta go.
So then he tells Jenny about the rocket, and Neville overhears it
Yes.
and starts chasing him. Not
Yeah.
like
Well,
not
and because Neville's already
sinisterly, but he's like
Neville's said that Jenny has to be fired. She's done.
right. Yeah. So
So
they're getting left out or escorted out, and Neville's like, "Oh wait, no, I need to hear more about this rocket." So he's trying to track him down now,
yeah.
which he does.
Yep. Cliff gets tossed out while Jenny gets her gear.
Yeah, and Neville changes his mind because she's now got the info.
Exactly. He's got a plan.
And then they set up a date, and then we cut to a plane race, which is cool.
Yeah. You're like this. Plane race is cool.
Plane race is cool. That's true. Plane races? Ask anybody. Anybody's going to be like, yeah, plane races are awesome. They are.
But yeah, this is the next day of the plane race. They were supposed to be doing their little stunt show with their plane, but it's busted up now, so he's supposed to be in a clown suit.
Yep.
Flying the clown plane.
Right. And Bigelow is yelling at Peavy. They're having a bit of an argument because
Cliff
isn't there yet. And then we see the clown plane. And they're like, who's in that clown plane? And we discover it's drunk old Malcolm.
Yeah. We had seen Malcolm briefly because he's supposed to be selling peanuts, Cracker Jacks, other types of things to the stands.
Max.
And he was listening over, and drunk old Malcolm, I guess, felt bad for making fun of Cliff the night before and wrecking his date.
Gonna go make it up.
He's gonna go make it up by putting on the clown suit and hopping in the plane. And to which
And
we find out Malcolm hasn't been behind the stick of a plane in 25 years.
After Cliff shows up, was like, oh, Malcolm's there. He hasn't flown a plane in like 25 years. So everyone's like, uh-oh. And then we see that
he hasn't flown a plane in 25 years. That's oh crud! Why did my math fail me?
1903, 1913.
Yeah, that's 1913. Very different plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's 1913. Yeah, what you looking up?
Which was only 10 years after the first successful flight, which took place on December 17th of 1903.
With the Wright brothers.
Yeah, that lasted 12 seconds.
Hey, it was in the air.
I know. I'm just saying. 10 years after that is the last time that guy flew a plane.
Yeah, World War One.
Anyway. Malcolm's in trouble. And Cliff's like, I'm going to go get the rocket pack and save him. And Peavy's like, oh, no, you're not. But
he goes like, oh, yes, I am. And he runs off.
Pretty much is the state of it. And Bigelow's like, what's going to happen now? You better stay out of the racing lanes or we're going to have problems. And then chaos erupts because Malcolm's flying all crazy. He starts hitting stuff.
Now, are we under the assumption that drunk old Malcolm is drunk up there, or he's just bad at flying planes after 25 years of not flying a plane.
I'm gonna go. He's just bad at flying planes after 25 years and not flying planes.
Because it's 9 in the morning and he's probably not drunk right now.
Fingers crossed. And
Might be.
they never come out and say that he's supposed to be the town drunk. It's just kind of implied the way he just kind of is.
Is it implied, or did you impart that on him? Because you're like, he could be a town drunk.
Might have been the second part.
Poor Malcolm. Anyway.
Historically speaking, in stories like that, there's always the town drunk.
Historically speaking.
Yeah. It could be a town drunk.
It could be a town drunk.
He looks the part.
Yeah. Oh boy.
So we see Mal. Nope. Cliff. In the rocket suit, flying around.
Yes, he puts the rocket suit on, puts the helmet on, and is taking off to go save Malcolm.
Which he kind of doesn't do a good job at, because he busts through the bottom of the plane, scares the heck out of Malcolm. Malcolm knocks himself out.
Yeah. I mean,
like, hey man, what are you doing? You gotta wake up so I can get you out of here.
To be fair, this is the first time he's flown with the rocket.
Yes.
There's a learning curve.
Yep. And yeah, so he saves Malcolm. The plane hits a gas truck and explodes. Which I'm glad they only used that bit twice.
I mean, to be fair, it's on the airstrip. There's an air show going on. They have to have a fueling truck. They're not going to have pumps out there on this airstrip.
No, sure. But still. Anyway, Malcolm's saved. Cliff is out of control in this thing. And then he finally comes to a stop in a lake. Peavy is immediately following him where he's going. Somehow finds him.
Yeah,
while everyone else is trying to chase him too, because they want to know what this thing is.
Well, Peavy hopped in the truck. Everybody else is kind of not.
Yeah. Anyway, and then Peavy's truck is dead.
Yeah, and you forgot to mention that the mob is at the air show.
Sure, mob likes, they like air
searching
shows.
For the rocket. They might like air shows, but they're there looking. They're there looking for the rocket based on the information that Lothar got.
Why can't they be there watching the planes?
They can. You just didn't mention them.
I didn't mention them at all. No,
you didn't.
That's why you're here. Okay, so then we're at the lake.
Yes,
they fish out Cliff. Then they hear that cars are coming, and it's like, oh no, we don't want to let them know who we are and what we got. We gotta stay anonymous, see?
Yeah.
So Peavy hops in the truck, tries to start it up. It don't start up.
Nope, it's dead in the water.
He's like, oh no, what are we gonna do? And Cliff's like, put it in neutral. And Peavy's like, what? And he goes, put it in neutral. I'll push. And I'm like, that's not gonna get him very far. And then they take off with the rocket pack, and I'm like, oh, right. He's still got a rocket strapped to his back.
Yeah, he's got a rocket strapped to his back. So as the cars are approaching, they take off, and it's fast. Peavy's a little disconcerted.
Wouldn't you be?
Yes,
Cars don't go that fast in the 30s.
No, they don't.
They top out at 15.
Just enough so you don't have to walk everywhere.
Pretty much. I mean, realistically speaking, going that fast, it would probably just start falling apart.
Yeah, possibly. But we find out the mob is the ones that was catching up, not the cops like they had thought.
That's worse.
Because the mob was looking for the rocket pack and like, hey, there's a guy with a rocket pack. There he goes.
But then Bigelow starts getting a bunch of phone calls.
Yeah, I mean, because there was a spectacle of a flying man at an air show.
Yes, and they're coming up with names. And Bigelow comes up with the Rocketeer, and they like that.
They do like that. That's a good name.
It ain't bad.
Yeah.
Then the FBI shows up to question Bigelow.
Well, because they're looking for the rocket too.
Well, absolutely. That's a big deal.
It is.
And they find out that Bigelow's place has been ransacked.
They do.
And then they find Bigelow crumpled up like a piece of paper.
Yeah, Bigelow got folded in half. So we know who showed up to visit Bigelow.
Okay, so you got Lothar.
Yes.
Who is like some kind of genetic mutation, super strong guy?
Like I said, he's straight out of Dick Tracy. He's.
Sure. We get zero explanation on who he is and why. He just exists to exist.
I mean, we find out. I mean, I don't think we need to know his whole story. We find out who he is later little bit, and you're like, yeah, that works.
You'll have to tell me that because I missed it.
Okay. I mean, it's and maybe it's just my way of thinking with it, but I mean, in this, I mean, it's no one will ever know. They won't believe you. Uh, but I mean, the type of movie is it's a pulp movie like Indiana Jones, Dick Tracy. It's in that vein that style of adventure film. So you just take things with a grain of salt sometimes. Like why is there a guy named Blankface and Dick Tracy? They got weird faces and weird abilities sometimes. So just kind of go with it. This guy's a huge man. He can fold people in half. Sure, that works.
Okay.
It worked for me.
Speaking of Lothar, we cut to Lothar showing up at Peavy's place when Peavy's working on a thing.
Yeah, because apparently Bigelow told him.
Yeah, because he's good at getting info. So he's got a ball peen hammer that he's going to fight with.
You got to fight with something.
Cliff comes home, hears Peavy screaming, goes
He's
in there
about
to
to get
help.
folded in half.
Yeah, and then he throws the hammer. Not very well either.
Yeah, he's not Thor.
Thor could take Lothar.
Yes.
So then a fight breaks out. Cliff and Peavy are fighting Lothar. Then the FBI shows up, and Lothar is dual wielding pistols.
Yeah, I do like the fact that Lothar put Cliff's head through the ceiling at one point.
A couple times.
Yeah, it's like, where's the rocket
gonna-
pack? I don't know what you're talking about. Back in the ceiling.
I do not appreciate how unfazed Cliff was by his head getting slammed through a ceiling.
I mean, yeah. I was gonna say building materials weren't as strong back then, but
They were probably stronger.
yeah, back then they were using plaster and
Plyboard.
plyboard. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Or
not like actual wood, not
right.
sawdust.
Yeah, the boards, and they put the plaster on it and smooth it, and
Yeah, no, things were.
because it looked like drywall.
It looked like paper.
Well, they didn't want to hurt their actor.
That's fair. But the FBI shows up, a gunfight breaks out, and Cliff and Peavy take this opportunity to grab the rocket and run.
Yes, Lothar also takes this opportunity to get out of Dodge. It's like it's not worth it with 20 FBI agents shooting at this house.
No, not at all.
Because they just light it up.
They do. Well, because Lothar shoots first.
He does, but yeah, he shoots for. I mean, classic.
Dick Tracy.
No, yeah, I guess Dick Tracy or a mobster thing. Just shoot.
Shoot and run, yeah. See, but so then we cut to a dance that's clam themed.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, what else you got?
No, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and I mean, Jenny's not great. She's on a date with Neville.
Yeah, I suppose you could call it a date.
They're out to dinner.
Yeah, they're talking about the industry and career advancements and acting roles and.
Sure.
But yeah, they're on a date.
Yeah, they're on a date. The conversation later really drives home that point that they're on a date. And then some weird guy with a cigar shows up, gets a little inappropriate, and
the old guy.
Yeah.
Because Neville's got to go talk to somebody.
Yeah, so the other guy sits down and he's like, I'm ready to hear your life story, man.
Definitely a choice.
It's definitely a choice. Then we cut to Cliff and Peavy. They're in hiding. Apparently they're up in the attic of the diner.
Yeah, seems like they've been up there before.
But then someone comes up and tells them that Bigelow's been killed.
Yeah, word starts spreading because, I mean, it's a small town.
Yeah.
I was born in a small town. So yeah, word gets to them that Bigelow's been killed. They think they've been compromised.
They come down from the attic.
Yeah.
Mob comes in.
Yep.
Creates a ruckus.
A ruckus. I like that word. But yeah, they're there looking for Cliff.
And Cliff is right there.
Because they're pretty sure Cliff has the rocket.
They are pretty sure that Cliff has the rocket. They're not dumb.
They don't know for sure, but all signs are pointing to Cliff having the rocket.
Yeah. So then they're asking around, and the small town, they ain't saying much.
No,
and
but
then
when they were searching the plane looking for the rocket, they found Jenny's picture,
They did find Jenny's picture.
which is what led them to Cliff.
Right. And then they're in the diner, and then they're threatening Peavy. No one's still talking.
Yeah, this is a tight-knit community. The town's got each other's backs.
Because they're about to push his face onto a griddle. I think I would talk.
Peavy's not saying anything. Everybody else is kind of clamming up, too.
But then one of the
It's like,
mob bosses...
everybody else is like, man, Peavy's taking him over the team. Yeah, don't say anything.
Yeah. But then like the kind of the lead mobster guy notices the Jenny heart on the wall and the number.
Yeah.
And is like, oh, well, we got the girlfriend's number. Let's start there. So they call
Yep.
Jenny, and they talk to Jenny's housemate,
Yeah.
and they figure out where Jenny is, and half the mobsters leave, the other half stay, and whilst wandering around, henchman notices the picture of Jenny and Cliff.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, he sees the picture. He looks at it. It's like, hey, it's you on the wall. That's a good-looking girl. Wait a minute, that is the girl.
Yeah. But Cliff apparently saw this coming, so he was at the ready with the ketchup bottle.
Yeah, he had a ready to action, and as soon as he saw the picture and pieced it together, he jumped, and then the other guys jumped on the other guy.
Yeah. So they subdue. Is that the word?
Yeah, subdue.
The mobsters. Cliff is like, hey, I gotta go save Jenny. I don't like this rocket pack, but I need it to go save my girl. And then there's a hole in it, and they patch it with a piece of gum that Cliff's been chewing on, which we totally glossed over in the very beginning of the movie. He apparently sticks the gum that he's been chewing on the tail of his plane for good luck.
Yep, yeah, it's one of those habits. He just stick it on the tail, and he had a piece that he stuck on the rocket at some point.
Well, now, because now is when the hole came in from the shooting.
Right, but it was the gum had been there. He didn't hand the gum over. Peavy found it on the back of the rocket, pulled it off, and stuck it over the hole.
Ah, okay. And apparently that holds.
The gum was stronger back then.
Yeah. Then we cut to Neville and Jenny at the dance, and they start dancing to no music, and then music happens.
Okay, it's a restaurant they're at.
But it's still a dance.
I mean, they had these restaurant club type things where you go, you eat, you dance. There's
it's a club.
There's a live band.
Fun fact.
I was gonna let you dig your hole a little bit further with that one, but
no, thanks for bailing me out. I appreciate it. Fun fact.
Yes.
Singing lady.
Yes.
Is Steve Carell's boss in The Office.
Really?
Yes. Rachel pointed that out because I have only ever seen one episode of The Office.
Which episode was that? The first one?
Yes.
Okay.
Cliff gets there.
But yes,
the rocket.
They're at the club.
Dresses like a waiter.
Yes. And one thing Jenny mentions too during this that they her and Cliff had talked about coming to this place before.
Yeah. And that's when we find out it's a date because Neville's like, oh, tell me about Clifford. I want to know about the competition.
Yes. The guy that's got my friend stabbed.
Yes. And almost killed me with a wall.
Yeah.
But so she starts telling him about Clifford. And then Clifford shows up, drops a note in her soup with a note in her soup bowl to meet him by the big fish. Hey, big fish.
Hey. We said the name of the other movie.
Yeah. And then he gives them soup. And Jenny starts talking about the rocket pack, and he's like, shut up. Come with me.
Yeah, soup spills on Jenny, too.
And she excuses herself to go talk to him.
Yeah.
And he tells her the gist of the situation, and she's like, I don't believe you. Why should I believe you?
Right. He's like, you know what? Fine. I'm the Rocketeer. And she's like, what is that?
That part was hysterical. She's like, don't you read that paper?
Like, what do you mean, what is that? It's been in the paper all day.
And she's like, I've been busy. Like, oh, okay, fair enough.
But it's like someone saying, I'm Spider-Man. Who's Spider-Man? What do you mean, who's Spider-Man? He's everywhere.
It's been a long week. Kind of behind.
I mean, to be fair, it's been a day, and she just didn't read that day's paper.
Yeah. But also, it is a small town, so
Yeah.
Of
I
course,
mean,
she's in Hollywood land.
she's on the outskirts of it at her college.
Sure. But so she eventually believes him. Huzzah.
Yeah. Huzzah!
And then the paper floats up to the top of the soup bowl and Neville reads it.
I mean, it's been kind of sitting there. He's like, "What's that thing in the soup?"
Fair. And so Jenny's trying to leave. Lothar shows up. Um, they're chasing Cliff. Cliff hides in the laundry room and rockets himself up a laundry chute.
He does. That was a cool shot.
It was pretty cool. And then he's
'Cause it
chaotically launching himself around the ball.
Right, well, yeah, because he crawled in the laundry chute, like, "What's he gonna do?" And then the fire shoots out, like, "Oh, yeah, the rocket pack." And he
Yeah,
just
that
gets
would heat up the ductwork.
not instantly. He's moving up it too fast.
Eh, fine, I'll
Anyway,
let you have it.
it was cool. He came out of the laundry room and rode a, laundry cart.
Yeah, and now he's launching himself around he's flying around the restaurant. Hey.
Yeah, the Rocketeer.
And chaos ensues. And Jenny, instead of leaving, goes back into the restaurant.
She's gotta help.
Yes. And she does, because Cliff gets caught in a net and Jenny knocks out Lothar,
Yep.
but then gets caught by Neville and Cliff flies away.
Yes.
Because he thinks that Jenny's not there.
Right. He thinks Jenny got away, and Jenny has been chloroformed.
Yes. And she wakes up at Neville's house. And he comes in and giving her a drink, and he tries to convince her that he is being blackmailed, and so that's why he's being a bad guy. Is that he's just as much of a victim, but he has to play the part because of what the bad guys will do to him.
Right. Right. He's like, "I'm not doing this on purpose. They've got me on something, and it's we're gonna
They're
get through
making
this
me,
together. They're making me do
yeah.
it."
I'm here to help you, and he is trying to seduce her. He's kind of icky,
Yeah, he's not a good. No, he is kind of icky.
smarmy.
Smarmy. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
he's smarmy. He's smarmy,
yeah,
and yeah. I mean, yeah, he's a smarmy actor. He's like, hey,
yeah. And she plays along.
yes, yes, and it's. I mean, she goes right along with it too, and she's like, you know what? I believe you. Let's do this thing. Let's get it's taken care of.
Yeah, she gets a little flirty,
Yep.
and he has something for her to change in. Anyway,
Yeah, he's like, here, wear this cool dress that I like.
yeah, and she's like, okay, but can you come give me a hand? And he's like, oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, 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 creepy.
Yeah, and then she knocks him out and makes a break for it. And then she
She's
sees
like,
Luthor.
she's like, haha, I finally did a scene with Neville Sinclair because she was
Oh
acting
yeah,
the whole time and playing him,
nice.
and and he did not pick up on it.
Not at all. She's a good actress.
Yeah, he's also creepy and in a mood.
That's yeah. Anyway, while she's trying to escape, she sees Lothar blocking her exit, and so she finds another way and then goes into his library and pulls a book that just happens to release a hidden passage to plans for the rocket, CB radio, and the Nazi handbook.
Yeah,
And then she gets caught because she didn't kill him; she just knocked him out, and he woke up and
yeah.
got Lothar and apparently knew where she would go.
They made an educated guess and followed the open doors.
That works. Then we cut back to Cliff at Melly's at the Bulldog Diner.
Yep, he's looking for Peavy.
He's looking for Phoebe.
For Phoebe.
And then the phone rings, and it's the bad guys, and they're like, "Hey, we got your girl, and you're gonna do exactly what we say." And yeah,
You're gonna meet us here with the rocket pack.
that's the state
Copiche?
of it. Yes. And apparently the mobsters are actually the FBI guys or something. Got a little
No.
confusing here. Uh, PV's talking.
It got a little confusing and you stopped paying attention.
In order to stop, I would have had to have started. So PV's talking to Howard Hughes about the
Yeah,
rocket.
so the guys you keep calling mobsters have always been the FBI.
Okay.
They're the ones working with Howard Hughes to stop
Yes.
the rocket from getting in the wrong hands.
I just thought it
They
was his own set of mobsters.
No, it's the FBI. It's the U.S. government.
It would have been better if it were mobsters.
But the FBI comes in. One of the guys is like, "Hey, remember me?" He's the one that he had the punched at the beginning of the movie,
Okay, yeah.
and they grab Cliff. Then we cut to we cut to
Peavy.
Peavy with Howard Hughes being like, "Oh man, you're my hero."
Yeah. And then the mobsters bring in Cliff.
The
The
FBI.
FBI brings in Cliff, and Cliff's like, I can't give you the rocket pack because I gotta go save my girl, and then I'll give it back to you tomorrow. And they're like, that's no good, see? And so Cliff punches the guy out again.
Hang on. You're missing stuff. This is where they explain to them why they want the rocket back so bad, that they lost agents getting this recruitment tape out of Nazi Germany.
Sure.
That they're
Yeah.
planning on using. Yeah, sure. Like
Yeah.
you're saying it like you mentioned it at all. That they're trying to stop the rocket from getting into the hands of the Nazis just before World War II.
Sure, they had reasons. Don't they watch a movie with like rocket Nazis or something like that?
Yes, that I was just saying that's the movie they got out of the reel they got out of Germany. It said this is their plan. They want the rocket pack so they can easily take over.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
You have it written down. You just glossed over it because you want to get to the end.
No, I wrote it I wrote it out of order, and so I
Oh,
have an arrow
okay.
pointing up, and it's on the other page. Yeah. So I would have. It would have been like, oh yeah, so he jumps on the plane and flies out the thing, but I did gloss over, and I would have jumped back to it.
But
Oops.
but Cliff and Peavy are like, oh yeah, that is bad. We want you to have the rocket pack. And then Cliff's like, but I gotta use it first one more time.
And then he punches at the guy again.
Yeah, he punches the guy again, jumps on a model plane, and rides it out along I mean, it's on a track, so he jumps onto it. It goes along the track and starts gliding out the door of
Yeah.
of Howard Hughes's hangar. And
FBI ready to shoot this guy.
he's like, "Don't shoot in my warehouse." Yeah, the FBI's gonna shoot him. Howard Hughes doesn't want them to.
And he
And
goes, huh, it does fly.
yeah, he's happy that his his model plane is gliding out as Cliff takes off running.
And gets away.
Yes, he gets away.
But then we cut to the rendezvous spot, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure I don't miss anything else.
Hey, Nazi propaganda video was important.
It was. I will give you that. It was. So last season I spent a long time writing notes, and so I'm trying to do more shorthand
Okay.
because you're good at filling it in.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do it so it creates a better
No,
balance throughout the whole thing.
I get it.
So we're at the rendezvous spot,
Rendezvous.
and there's a whole big. Cliff's basically in trouble, is what it looks like. It looks like he's lost. Because
Yeah,
you got Neville there, you got Eddie, the mob guy, and whatnot,
and all the mobsters, all of Eddie's
and all,
crews there.
and it's just Cliff by himself. And Cliff turns to Eddie and goes, "I hope you know you're working for a Nazi." And Eddie's like, "Well, hang on a minute. I may not make an honest buck, but I am 100% American,
Yes, and we don't like Nazis.
and we don't like Nazis. Nobody likes Nazis. Okay,
Nobody likes Nazis.
nobody
But
likes
yeah,
Nazis.
but
But
yeah, he's throw that out there like I hope you're good working for Nazis. And Eddie's like, no, I'm not having that.
no. And then first Neville tries to deny it a little bit, and then he goes full, like pulls the drapes off the curtains or pulls.
Right. He's like, fine, I'm found out, but why do you care where your money's coming from? I'm like, because I'm American.
Yeah. So then Eddie and the mobsters turn on Neville.
Yep.
And then Neville says something in German, and like a sea of Nazi soldiers show up.
Yeah.
And then it looks real bad.
It does look really bad. But now there's the US mobsters and there's two little armies.
And then the feds show up because they followed him.
Yes. Which good job, feds.
Yeah, no, it was great. So then all heck breaks loose, and Lothar, Neville, Lothar and Neville grab the girl and put her up in a blimp.
Yes. Zeppelin.
Fancy word for blimp.
Yep. And it's got big old Nazi symbols on the fins.
It does.
which great visual for the storytelling aspect of it. Like, oh, there's the bad guy blimp. Why would you have that if you're trying to stay low key in the United States on your blimp?
Well, because they knew that. I mean, the blimps had it. We saw in the reel earlier that these blimps are going to L.A. from Germany,
Yeah,
and the United States wasn't in the war yet.
true. We weren't in the war yet, but still, yeah,
So there was no. It wasn't. I don't
yeah.
want to say it wasn't a big thing, but at the time, it wasn't.
It
It
was
wasn't
just
anything that Americans would be concerned about
it
because
was
we weren't
just
at war.
we weren't at the war. It was just like it was this the German flag at the time, basically on the blimp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But then Cliff goes after them and lands on the blimp. And
He does as FBI and mobsters start fighting Nazis on the ground.
yep. And apparently Lothar hears him land because he goes up to check it out.
Well, I mean,
And
they saw the guy. They saw the rocket shooting up from inside the blimp, so
sure,
he goes up top to take care of it.
to check it out and see what's going on. And good for him being safety conscious and tying himself off. That is an regulation right there.
You
Yeah.
do not see that often with bad guys, let alone anybody on a fighting on a blimp.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely wasn't a lot of safety harnesses. Well, maybe they had the hose
Yeah.
and up on the blimp, but anyway.
Yeah. So there's a brief little fight there. They don't really show much of it.
Yeah,
They cut to inside the blimp, and they're all talking, and
I mean
one guy says, "Don't
the
worry." What?
as I said, the fight's brief because Lothar gets knocked off.
He does. And then there goes to inside, and they're like, "Don't worry, we got the best pilot here." And then Lothar's, because he's tied off, falls and swings through and hits the pilot and knocks him back out. And they're like, "Well, there goes the best pilot."
Yeah,
And then Neville, and
there's
so
there.
I was taking notes, so I missed some stuff here and there. So
Okay.
in my head, what happened is Lothar flies through, hits the pilot. Pilot flies through the glass, leaves. One guy's upset about it. Neville's. I don't know. He apparently just doesn't like hearing him snivel about it, so he shoots him and kicks him out of there, and then
Yeah, so
turns to the other guy, and the other guy is like,
yeah, so the guy that's in there who's yelling about get the rocket, get the thing, do the thing is the more Nazi. He's the more German Nazi, I get. I don't know, but he's the other guy there, and he's like, you got to do this thing. We got to get out of here. Get the rocket. And Neville's just sick of him yelling at him all the time. He's like, I'm doing the thing. This guy's being a pain in the butt. So,
yeah,
bam. And then he looks at the other guy, is like, you're pilot now. Go fly this thing. The other's like, okay,
yep, no arguments here.
nope, we're flying it now. Whee, let's go.
Yep. But then we cut to Cliff showing up inside the blimp
Yep,
and agrees to give the rocket to Sinclair to save the girl.
he does. Yes.
And then Jenny just like blatantly shoots somebody.
They're Nazis.
I,
It's fine.
yeah, she shoots him and he falls out of the blimp, which that's 3 bodies now.
Well, and then there's a bunch on the ground as well.
Sure, but you've dropped 3 bodies out of the blimp.
Yeah.
And then Sinclair and Cliff go fisticuffs, and Jenny finds a flare gun while let's face it, Cliff's getting beaten up.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, he is. I mean, Cliff's
Not a
just a
fighter.
dude. He's not a fighter. He's just a dude. And Sinclair has combat training.
Yes, he does.
Probably not just stage combat training, but actual combat training. And I believe he was in the First World War. They said.
Yeah, being a Nazi spy too. Yeah, that would
Well, yeah,
you teach him how to fight. So she picks up a flare gun because the flare gun area gets smashed open
yeah,
in the tussle. And instead of just like pointing and threatening, she just shoots and lights the blimp on fire.
yeah.
And they lobby for Sinclair to help put out the fire. He's like, no, and takes his rocket pack and starts to fly away. But then
One,
it shows. Go ahead.
I was gonna say one thing we didn't mention is that when Cliff hands the rocket over, he moves the gum away from the hole that got patched earlier.
Ah, I missed that when I was note taking.
Yeah, he shoves it off and it starts leaking again.
Okay, yes. Because I was going to say, at this point, he gets far enough away from the Zeppelin, and the gum patch fails, and he explodes
Yeah,
and
yeah. So he's
launches off in a ball of fire.
yeah, pretty brutal death.
Great graphics.
Yeah, they did a really good job with it.
For the time, yeah. No, I mean, really, like, for the time, the way they did it,
Oh
the
yeah,
the
no,
C the CGI for the time was very well done, and the budget being what it was, I mean, yeah,
yeah, no, it looked good.
it did. It looked pretty
And
good.
I don't know if I don't think it was CGI done. I think it was overlays of explosions and just the way they did the effects, but it was a great effect.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he yeah, he's flying away all confident and stuff like, "Ha ha!" And then it just starts burning.
Yep.
And like, "No!"
But we
And
find out oh, that's right.
he crashes into the Hollywood land sign.
Yeah. At this, yeah, so then it just becomes the Hollywood sign.
Yep, takes out the
But
land apart.
but then it just came to me because the Zeppelin the blimp is crashing,
Yeah, the
which
blimp
is
is going down.
which is what happened earlier when they're like the blimp is losing altitude. We need to drop some weight. And Sinclair's like, okay, and then shoots the guy. That
Because
was
he was
what
because he was annoying him.
he was annoying him. But yeah, so they decide Jenny and Cliff
Cliff.
decide they need to bail.
Yeah,
So
Cliff's like,
they
this thing's full of this thing's full of
hydrogen.
hydrogen. We got to get out of here. That's gonna blow up.
It
Blow up
is.
something fierce.
And they get up to the top of it and start running because it blows up in sections. And then, hey, surprise, Lothar's back.
Yeah. Well, it's
And
got the compartment, so
right. And so Lothar sees that because he's facing it and their backs to it. And so they see Lothar turn and run, and they're like, well, if Lothar's running, we better run.
yeah.
So they're all running, and Lothar did not untie himself.
No, he's still safety harnessed in.
And that
Yeah, because that's
is
how he's able to climb back up on the top.
right. And that's to his detriment because I thought for a second that they were going to stop and help Lothar and he was going to have like that turn to being a good guy. But
He's a
nope.
Nazi. It's fine.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But yeah, so apparently Malcolm and Peavy are flying a plane to
No.
help. No?
no. PV and Howard Hughes are flying one of Howard Hughes's planes.
Ah, that's different.
That's very different than Malcolm flying a plane.
I
No.
thought it was Malcolm.
No, it was Howard
No.
Hughes. Howard Hughes, the airplane guy who was with PV last. They came to save the day, or
Yeah,
at
and
least save our heroes.
they drop a ladder down, and Cliff and Jenny grab onto the ladder just in the nick of time.
Yes.
And then we cut to the diner sometime later. It's
Yeah.
not specific as to how long later.
Things are patched up. Things are
Yeah.
kind of back to normal. It feels like.
Right, and then Hughes shows up.
Yeah, Cliff hears the sound of a plane. He goes running outside.
Yeah.
And you
And
see a little GB come flying down.
Yep. And then Hughes leaves, gives him the
Yeah,
plane, and leaves.
yeah. The plane lands and a car pulls up at the same time, and he was like, "Good job, kid. How was it to fly the thing?" Because he never got to fly the rocket.
Oh, right, yeah. That's right, yeah. Because he's like, I wanted to ask you, what was it like? And he's like, oh, it's the closest to heaven I'll ever get. And then he looks at Jenny and he goes,
Yes,
maybe
he
not.
looks at Jenny, not the plane. Like,
I got the symbolism.
Yeah. But then Howard Hughes pulls the sign off the plane. It says pilot is Cliff. He's got his name on the side of it. And he's like, see ya, and hops in the car and takes off.
And gives him a peck of gum.
Yeah, he's like, don't fly without this.
Yep. And then Jenny goes to Peavy and is like, hey, I got something for you. And pulls out the plans for the rocket pack.
Yes, she had grabbed that from his secret Nazi room.
From the Nazi room, yeah. And then we roll credits, right?
And Peavy's like, oh man, look at this. Hey, Malcolm, come check this out.
Yes, he's excited about it.
Yeah. And then the credits roll, yes.
Then the credits roll. And that was the Rocketeer.
Kinda.
What do you mean, kinda?
No, that was the Rocketeer. Give us your final thoughts, dude.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
So, There were so many things about this movie that were fantastic that I absolutely loved.
Okay.
The problem I had with it was that the way it got there.
Okay.
I thought the beginning was slow
With the
and
gunfight and the plane
just
crash?
this yeah. I'm sorry. It
Okay.
was all the whole setup to when the movie actually got interesting was so slow that by the time it got interesting, I was no longer interested.
Okay.
Talking with you about it, I had a lot of fun. Watching it with Rachel, actually, there was a lot of times where I actually enjoyed it and I had a lot of fun with it. As a movie all the way through, it was too inconsistently entertaining for me. They're too much bogged down, too much slow. It seemed to, it kept trying to make itself longer, and I didn't, and it felt like it didn't need to be, and they were just doing it to make the movie longer because it was almost a 2-hour movie. They could have cut out 20 minutes, and I think it would have been way better.
Maybe.
Like it's an hour and 50 minutes, and if it was say an hour and 25, an hour and 30,
I thought it was an hour and 39.
hour 49. But yeah, I mean those. eh, I felt like they padded those extra 20 minutes in there, and if they had removed 20 minutes to get to the point better, I think it would have been a much better movie. I think it was too long for the story they were trying to tell,
Okay.
but I didn't hate it.
Interesting. Okay.
Your turn.
My turn.
Yeah.
I like I said earlier, I remembered a lot less of this movie than I thought I remembered. Because as I was watching it, I was kind of thinking like, what do I remember of this movie? I remember the blimp fight. I remember Lothar. I remember the rocket pack and Timothy Dalton. That was about it.
Oh, wow.
But I really enjoyed this movie. I had a lot of fun with it.
Okay.
It was like I also mentioned too. It's in the same pulp vein as like Dick Tracy mobster style or pulp movies, Indiana Jones, The Mummy, that early World War II type era of movie, and I had a lot of fun with it. I think it set it up well. It felt the period part of it was nice, and the things you thought. I mean, maybe it was just a different style of filmmaking where things were a little bit longer and held longer sometimes. But I had a lot of fun with it.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good adventure movie. I thought it would have liked to have done better. I think a sequel would have been fun because at that time it would have been PV making the rocket and trying to. I don't know what the bad guy would have been. Maybe Nazis again, but who knows? Maybe he gets drafted. Um, I didn't look into what the sequel might have been because I don't think they really talked about it too much. But yeah, I had a good time with it.
Good.
So, yeah. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think that about takes care of what I had.
Oh, and the main actor Billy
Billion 4C.
Pretty Bird, uh, Billy Campbell. Oh, I
Yeah.
feel bad now. Yeah, Billy Campbell. I think he did really well in this movie, and surprised he did. I mean, it's partly because the movie didn't do well, I think, but he seems like a good leading man, and it's weird I didn't see him in anything else.
You just like him because you and him have the same haircut.
Sometimes, sometimes the same haircut. Right now, it's a little long, but no, I think he did a good job.
Okay. Yeah, he did.
But
I
yeah,
did. I think all the acting was great. Timothy Dalton, I mean, he's always kind of an over actor.
well, I mean, it's part of the character too.
Right.
He's in the
Yeah.
movie. He is an actor who's doing like three roles at once.
Fair. Yeah. I retract. Yeah.
Um, but yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't have anything else,
No.
let's see. Lothar looked cool. I
It,
did remember that with remembering Lothar, the look and everything. I remember he folded people in half and crumpled them up like paper. Um, yeah, and I don't think we watched this movie a lot growing up. I remember us renting it.
I remember Dad watching it on the TV
I think we the one or two
on
times, but
on the cable.
yeah,
I don't remember caring for it as a kid.
that's fair. I mean, when it came out, you were what 6?
Yeah, something like that. But then when it came out on TV, I was like 7 or 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not really your style, at least back then, or now apparently.
Yeah.
All right, I guess since we don't have anything else to talk about with this movie, we move on to the next bit where you tell us what we're watching next.
Yeah. And much like last time it was my turn to pick, I have
Struggle?
not landed I've not landed on a movie.
Okay.
Um yeah, I had a few picked out that I wanted to do and I was humming and hawing about it and then you mentioned one just now and I'm like, I want to do that. So let's do The Mummy.
Yeah.
Let's do it. The Mummy. Go for it.
Okay. You want to do a Mummy back to back?
You mean do The Mummy and then do The Mummy Returns next?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we could do a double feature. So we'll do. Okay. So my pick is The Mummy. Your pick is The Mummy Returns.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I get the next pick after that.
Yeah. So you got some time to think.
Perfect. That. Wow. I love it. I love how this works out because I didn't see that coming at all. All right. So we'll be doing a. Stay tuned for us doing back to back Mummy movies. I guess.
In a weird way, it's similar to our back to back Navy movies, but
Yeah,
these ones are actually sequels to each other. So
they are, and yeah, I kind of didn't see that coming, but I like the surprise factor of it. That's cool. We'll see how this
yay!
turns out.
I think it should be fun.
I think so too. Um, I know Dad'll like it.
That's good.
Dad loves the Mummy movies.
They're great.
Spoilers.
Oh, sorry. They're redacted.
I'm leaving that in because that doesn't take away from the final thoughts. I think sometimes it's pretty obvious what we think of movies when we mention them.
or when we go through them.
When we go through. Well, I'd say let's be honest here. Neither one of us are picking movies because we hate them.
True. There's a good chance that one of us likes the movie we're picking.
There's a good chance that the one picking it either likes the movie or liked the movie at one point, or if it's one we hadn't seen before, was interested in it.
I don't think we've done one that neither of us haven't seen before.
Cloak and Dagger.
Oh yeah, we did.
And that was a home run. So actually, that was fun. I kind of want to do more of that.
Oh, the we've never seen this movie before. Let's do it.
I mean, hopefully in the
more
future we'll
films
do
from the '80s.
We can do more films from the '80s, but I'd like to visit some other decades.
Okay.
Which we're doing now with The Mummy.
Yes.
But I think that wraps up today. So thank you for coming along with us as we looked at The Rocketeer. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can do so. WatchItBroPodcast@gmail.com. We're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, at WatchItBroPod, Facebook and Instagram under that same handle. Our intro and outro music, as of now, is provided by my lovely wife. That intro being Blue, that outro being Orlando. Like, rate, review, subscribe. That actually does help us out a lot, and we would appreciate the positivity. And as always, thank you for watching.